there, Corey. Thank you. We'll pay you the big bucks.
Oh yeah, like those Canadian big bucks.
All right. Yeah, I think we are good. Let's go ahead and kick this off. All right. Well, welcome everyone to the May edition of the AKS Community Call. We're glad to see you here. We got a really busy agenda and also a busy week as build is going on, and we do have some updates to talk about for build. As always, this call is going to be recorded. And again, please spread the word about the call. One thing we are looking for is some signal as far as how the call is making the grades for you. So if there's things that you like, things that you want to see, things that you don't like, please let us know. That all helps us to continue to make this meeting useful for you all. Next is our code of conduct. So this call is under the Microsoft Code of Conduct rules. If you do come off the mic or if you're going to be communicating in messaging, just be respectful and you should be okay. And here is our agenda. We're going to talk about some of the announcements happening again this week. Build is happening, and we have some specific AKS announcements that we'll kind of highlight there. After that, we mentioned this in the last call, but I want to kind of highlight it. It's the AKS release tracker and CVE status. This is going to make your life much easier in understanding what versions are out there, what CVEs are applied with images, et cetera. So I'll actually be going through that and showing that off. Next, we do have our community content winner, and we're going to talk about some things that we may do to shake this up, but we're excited to present this month's winner, and we'll have that link. So if you want to submit content, please do to see if you want to be considered for that. After that, this is where it gets really exciting. We have our principal PM, Sadia. She will be here and she's going to go over the advanced container networking services. She has a demo, bunch of slides. I'm seeing it. It looks really awesome. So I can't wait. So stay tuned for that. And then we'll follow up with the normal AKS feature roadmap. We do have some things that we want to highlight and make sure people are aware of and where things are tracking. And then as always, we'll open it up at the end. We'll have the open mic. And if you've got questions, feel free to and ask those during that time. Okay. So with that, we have the Microsoft build, and guys don't have this. Let me. This is where it gets a little challenging here because I want to share my screen. I'll copy this real quick and just share my screen. We have. Are you able to see the screen? No.
No.
I'm sorry. Okay, let me. That might have happened. So one second, let me back out of this. And I'm assuming the presentation is no longer there as well. Is that right?
Just your lovely visage, Phil.
Okay. All right.
I did drop in the, yeah, while you work on that, I did drop in the chat, folks. We had a ton of feature announcements come out on Monday from AKS Build. So while Phil works to pull that up, you can feel free to click through and check out all those announcements. There are too many for us to go through all of them, but some notable highlights that I know folks have been asking about a lot is the GA of the API VNet integration. So please pop over to that post when you get a chance and read through some of the announcements.
Thank you, Corey, on that. Let me do this because I do actually want to show this. And so let me actually do stop the presentation for a second and then take it back off because fortunately I can't figure out how to share that. So, next second. And then mode. You can see the presentation, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, okay. 1 second. Let me that. Is it? Okay. Apologies for the technical difficulties here. What I'll do is towards the end of this call, I'll go ahead and show that off. This is not wanting to cooperate, unfortunately. Okay, we're back. I will kind of talk briefly, but then I'll actually go through this. So we did talk about build. We do have the link there, and that will show you kind of all the AKS announcements happening. Next, we want to actually talk about the Reactor Labs. If you're not familiar with this, this is where there's a live lab session with PM, dev advocate, or engineering from our side. So these are really fun to participate in. There's the link to go see the schedule of those coming up. But yeah, please put those in your calendar. They're pretty exciting. But I'm actually going to show some of this stuff towards the end, and I can figure out how to fix what's going on here. All right. Next, yeah, this is another thing that we're going to show. But what we do have is we have a website where now you can actually go and look at all the latest AKS releases, all the CVEs that are associated with those releases. So this is really nice because we typically had this information buried in the release notes of a lot of the AKS releases. We now have this as a website that you can go to, and it's very easily filterable, so to speak. And if you're looking to ensure that does this image have this certain CVE already applied, you can easily see that. So I'll kind of walk through this towards the end when I don't have to present this and figure that out. So next, we have our content spotlight of the month. Again, we're getting a lot of submissions here, so please keep those coming. It's fun to see all the content that the community is creating. And it's just fun for us to kind of rank these and get these out. Again, if you don't see yours, it doesn't mean that we won't eventually get to it. We're splitting hairs, tons of good content coming in. So again, that's the link there. You want to point to your blog and show us kind of all the great content that you're doing out in the community. Let us know so we can highlight that. But for this month in May, our winner is Roy Kim. Roy Kim submitted a really nice article, and it's very timely. AI, LLMs, but Roy submitted some content around him utilizing Cato, which is the Kubernetes AI toolchain operator, and really nice, good read. Gives you a nice overview. He shows you how to set it up. And then towards the end, he has a couple of samples of doing some inferencing. So if you're not aware of Cato, go kick the tires on it. Again, it's going to help you streamline your deployment and operations of hosting LLMs in Kubernetes and AKS specifically. All right, we're almost ready to talk about some of the Azure networking stuff, containers. But first, before we do that, we do have one deprecation that we want to talk about, and this is Teleport. So if you jumped on Teleport some time ago, this was a technology that really allowed the decompression of caching, and it just made image pools much quicker. That project is going to be retired, and if you were actually using it or you're looking for a similar type of technology, we want you to migrate over to the artifact streaming, and that's in preview as well. So that is kind of like the next gen of this project. So we did want to just make sure that everyone is familiar with that deprecation if you were using Teleport. And with that, Sandy, I think you're up. Sandy is a principal project manager, and I will let her introduce herself. Report.
Thank you, Phil. Hi, everyone. My name is Sandhya Castanino. I'm a principal product manager in the Azure Container Networking team, working on building networking solutions for AKS. Today, I want to take you through advanced container networking services in Retina and explain, why we built it and how you can use it in your AKS clusters. Give me a second here. So I want to share why ACNS exists. It's because Kubernetes is quickly becoming the de facto.
Sandy, I'm not sure if you're broadcasting.
Did you not see my screen? Oh,
yeah, I think you might have to slide the toggle on it.
Okay.
Oh, someone's saying we actually do. Okay, so they've confirmed.
You do see the slides. Okay.
Okay, yeah. There we go.
All right, thanks. So as I was saying,
we got some discrepancy. Did someone confirm if you actually see the slides that Sandy is showing? Okay, they're saying they only see you. Okay. Do you see in your left column there? I think you might have to hit the toggle on your share.
Yeah, I have, but I'm going to untoggle and do it again.
Okay.
Is this better? Okay, great.
So, and
Okay, a second here.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So as I was saying, Kubernetes is quickly becoming our de facto platform on which all applications, especially the new GenAI applications, are being deployed. You can run these, GenAI workloads across a mixture of VMs, containers, and bare metal services, and that's what we're seeing currently from customers. But as we bring more and more applications onto Kubernetes, the attacks on containers and Kubernetes is increasing as well. And we're seeing this as a big challenge for operators of these networks that they can't move as fast as they want to from VMs to containers because of the whole security posture. And that's one of the things we're trying to address with ACNS by bringing your security controls much deeper and closer to where the application is. We do that in several ways with policies as well as encryption and give you those security options, but I'll talk through those a bit more. When you then go to operate these networks, another big challenge that we're hearing from customers is the visibility isn't there. There is not enough deep network diagnostics to understand, when there is an issue, how that can get debugged and resolved quickly. Some of the problems we've heard from customers that have come up where they are completely blind is things like their pods suddenly stop talking to each other and they have no idea why. They don't know which pod or application is disproportionately using resources or bandwidth. There are numerous DNS issues that we hear about with with folks being blind about, what are those DNS errors? Where are they happening? What kind of latencies are we seeing? As well as in order to debug any issue, you need a real-time view of traffic flows within the Kubernetes cluster. So we've tried to address all of these pain points with advanced container networking services. With ACNS, we're striving to build a solution that can provide you deep insights to help you troubleshoot faster and highlight application and network performance degradation. We're doing that using eBPF. We have eBPF programs that we install in the Linux kernel, and we use those programs to get data out of the kernel instead of using user space agents to collect all of your metric data and extract logs that we then enrich for you with the right kind of information. This is all done in a very scalable and secure manner using minimal cluster resources. We've incorporated the Hubble control plane that you may be familiar with. And on the security side, we are using, we're building granular control for you by with policies, security policies. We have FUDN or DNS policies as well as L7 policies. For all of the observability stuff I mentioned, you can use industry standard Prometheus and Grafana. We have pre-built dashboards for these, which I'll show you right here. So as part of the observability suite of capabilities we have here, there are pod level metrics. So typically from an AKS cluster, you will get cluster level metrics. Here with ACNS, you go deeper, you can get node metrics as well as pod level metrics. To give you information about, what are your TCP and UDP statistics like? What is the utilization at the workload level or the namespace level or the pod level? You can go that deep. We also show you heat maps, and I'll show you this in a demo shortly, for all of the pods in a namespace, including the drop packet statistics. You can also see errors, your TCP connection errors, resets. This all gives you, at a glance, with the pre-built dashboards that we have on Grafana that you can use, easily help you pinpoint where there's a problem when you see application degradation. But that's not all. One of the top issues that we hear about from customers is DNS. Troubleshooting DNS is really hard. We want to give you that visibility to show you exactly what's going on. So what we do is in those pre-built dashboards, you can see with ACNS, the DNS errors that are showing up. So if your DNS queries have been refused by the DNS server, or you get an error of non-existent domain, you can easily go in and try to resolve that. Not only do we show you the errors, we go deeper and pinpoint exactly which pods have those errors. And then where your errors are, if your DNS errors are disproportionately increasing, we'll show that as well. So this gives you some, will easily help you debug DNS issues. But just metrics are not enough. With ACNS, you get the ability to do flow logs. These are real-time network flow logs. There are two options for flow logs. One, which has already been released and you can try it out right now, are Hubble flow logs, which are done on demand. So what that means is when you have an issue, you reproduce the issue and you turn on the flow logs at the same time, the Hubble logs at the same time, collect the logs and debug it. What we're expanding the capability, and this feature is coming soon, is the ability to persist those logs. So you don't have to try to reproduce the issue and capture the logs at the same time. You can proactively run your logs either in log analytics workspace, or you export the logs to an external logging service. We give you both options. where you collect these logs, and not only do that, but one of the biggest issues we've heard with log collection is it costs a lot. Collecting logs is expensive. So what we've added right from the get-go is filtering capability. So you don't need to collect all logs. If you know where the issue is, maybe it's restricted to certain namespaces, certain pods. You can specify that you only want to collect logs for those specific uh, identities to reduce the number of logs that are collected. And then you can put that into Azure Monitor Log Analytics, or like I said, collect it from the node and export it wherever you want. You can also use an OTel collector with this. We have what we've done is also pre-built visualization for you in Grafana. You can see the table of the logs as well as a service graph. The service dependency graphs, we have, again, two options. One is with the container logs in Grafana, like I mentioned, but you can also use Hubble UI. Hubble UI is a user-friendly browser-based interface that you can use to explore your cluster network activity. It creates a service connection graph based on flow logs, so you can easily view your service dependencies. Note that Hubble UI is something that you install. I mean, you will set up yourself. This is not supported by us. I want to show you a demo right now of the observability capability that we have here. So what we have is dashboards for DNS requests is the first one that I'd like to show you. As I mentioned, you can see your DNS requests and responses in this table right here, but you can also see which DNS requests are missing responses. So this is what you want to pay attention to, this orange line here, and find out if the number of spikes increase. That's something you want to look into. Why are those DNS requests not getting responses? Furthermore, you can see the errors by node. So we show you the specific DNS errors that you're seeing. In this case, you can see these spikes here are for NX domain errors. It could be because of a misconfiguration that you want to look into. It could also be a malicious attack trying to overwhelm your DNS servers. So these are things you can easily pinpoint and look at here, as well as give you the ability to go show you exactly which nodes and pods specifically are causing those errors. The next thing I want to show you is the drops dashboard. So you can also see incoming traffic being dropped and why, whether it's incoming or outgoing traffic. So in this case, the spike that you see here is because we have a policy that's denying that traffic. Easily help you understand if you've misconfigured your policies. We have heat maps as well that show you, which pods are have higher drops than others. So at a glance, if you see something dark in color here, that is something you want to investigate. We also have dashboards for layer 7. So we recently released layer 7 policies, and we're able to show you data in your dashboards for what type of L7 requests are going out. What is the success rate of those requests? And what are your errors with respect to layer 7? We have heat maps for L7 as well, showing you the different types of errors and the incoming requests. On the flow log side, as I mentioned, this is a capability that's not on by default for container network logs. You have to turn this on using a CRD with filters applied for specifying what source and or destination you want to see the logs for. And this is what the log collection will look like. You will be able to see the flow logs, as well as error logs. So you see not only all of the flow logs, but also logs that specifically have errors that we have collated for you here in this query. As I mentioned, this is the example of the filters that you can apply. And this is the dashboard, pre-built dashboard that we've built, which shows you, based on the logs, these are all your service dependencies. This is what each application is talking to, including any drops that you should pay attention to here, or errors. So on the security side, what we have is policies applied at different layers. So we can give you very fine grained control over your application layer traffic. You can set up not just Kubernetes network policies at L3 and L4, which is with IP and protocol and ports, but we have DNS filtering, URL filtering as well, that with the FQDN based network policies, where you can set up egress, policies for how your traffic egresses your network using FQDNs rather than IPs, which tend to change, they're ephemeral and tend to change, making it very hard to manage. We recently public previewed L7 policies as well. So now you can allow or restrict access to necessary API resources, enforcing a least privilege security model for these interactions between the microservices. We do that together with the L3, L4 policy enforcement. So you can apply all of these together. Now, in order to apply any of the security capabilities here, you will need to deploy Cilium, the Cilium data plane. And the reason for that is we use the Cilium enforcement engine for policy enforcement. So if you're on any other CNI, you will, in order to get any of the security capabilities, you want to move to Azure CNI powered by Cilium. And that supports multiple modes. There are VNet modes with node subnet, hot subnet, but also overlay on Cilium. So our recommendation is, if you haven't already moved to Azure CNI powered by Cilium, that is where we're investing the most in optimizations for scale, for performance, as well as for new security features. I have a demo here for the policies that I will share with you. I'm going to try this with sound. If it does not work, please interrupt and let me know if you cannot hear the sound.
I don't think we can hear the sound. If you go to your share, Sandy, I think there's a toggle there of include sound.
Give me a second.
Just hit that share button at the very top. Well, in the meeting, actually.
Checking. I do not have that option.
When you hear when you click the share content.
Just going to stop sharing and share again. That's okay. I'll just talk you through what we're
Okay.
doing here. Okay, so here we are going to set up L4 and L7 Cilium network policies. This will be on Azure CNI powered by Cilium. We're creating a new cluster with ACNS enabled, and here you can see that you're specifically going to look for whether Cilium is configured or not. So here you can see that the network data plane is Cilium. That's what you want before you do any security policies. And your network policy mode is Cilium. In this case, we've used the overlay mode for Cilium. So it's Azure CNI powered by Cilium and overlay. What we also want to check for is on kubeconfig, we check the newly created cluster, and we want to check whether all the deployed components of Cilium are running and they're healthy. So that's what checking the status here is going to tell you. The way we will show you this example is with a demo storefront application. So this application has multiple microservices or components. There's an auto service and a product service and the storefront service. So this is the actual application where you can see the storefront service has a catalog of products. So storefront service is talking to the product service here. Now we're going to create a default deny policy that will not allow the storefront service to talk to the product service. And once we apply this policy, what we expect to see is the storefront no longer shows you the product catalog because it's not able to talk to the product service anymore. We're ensuring the Cilium network policy object is created as well as applied the policy itself. Now, when you go to the storefront, you see because of that policy that you created, you cannot get the catalog. You also want to check the logs to show you what is going on. So we're opening a shell to show you the drop traffic for the applied network policy. This is what you will see. Obviously, you can see on the browser, there's still no, we create some more requests. In the logs, you can see the policy denied verdicts. Now, we're going to allow the storefront to talk to product service on a certain port. So we created that policy to allow, this is the policy that we're applying to allow the two microservices to talk on a certain port. Now you should be able to see the product catalog again, which is here. That's because the policy is working as expected. Now we'll create a L7 network policy. So here we're setting up multiple requests to the health page. And we want to make sure you can only access that health page. So we allowed that through the policy. We're applying the policy. Now we're going to verify that the health endpoint returns fine. But anything other than health is denied. We have to ensure that the correct ports and matching labels are applied for your policy to work correctly. So here, as you saw in this demo, we only allowed a certain path, HTTP path, through and not anything else. So that's how granular you can get with these policies. The next feature that that we're coming out with soon is Cilium transparent encryption. Keeps moving forward. They're doing that. Apologies here. So the next capability that we're coming out with is Cilium transparent encryption. Slide keeps moving on its own. With Cilium transparent encryption, what we're doing is you get node level encryption using WireGuard with a simple a simple configuration. We are the ones who
Yeah, Cindy,
really
I
wants to
don't
show
think
you the
it's
pricing.
your fault. I think we're just having some technical difficulties, unfortunately.
That's okay. I'll explain. I'll just explain this WireGuard feature, and then we go to pricing. So the Cilium WireGuard feature gives you node-to-node encryption out of the for everything that comes out of the node. And many customers need this for compliance reasons, for security reasons. You also have VNet encryption that you can use that is part of the VNet itself. But the difference here is the VNet encryption. For VNet encryption, it's supported on certain. It's not supported on all SKUs, and you may need to there's certain scenarios for node-to-node encryption within the same host on VNet encryption that does not get encrypted. Whereas with a WireGuard encryption, you turn it on once for the cluster and it encrypts all of your traffic. Currently, we use a Microsoft managed keys. So we manage your key rotation and all of that. So it's extremely simple and straightforward. There is, however, a throughput and latency tax that you will take because this is not done in hardware. The encryption is done in software. But with that caveat, we will be releasing Cilium WireGuard transit encryption or transparent encryption soon. Lastly, ACNS is a paid service. It is GA already. This is the price per node per hour. And you can find more details at the link. I also wanted to talk about Retina. So everything I talked about ACNS is our managed offering. We have an open source offering as well called Retina for observability. Much of the capability that I shared with you for ACNS observability is available on Retina. For Kubernetes visualization, you can get the on-demand flow logs. You can get all of the metrics that I shared with you, including DNS metrics to help you debug and go deep, analyze all of your traffic. We recently shared demos where we show you Retina now works on across clouds. So you can deploy Retina on AKS, EKS, and GKE, as well as on-prem. So you can use Retina in many different environments. We're looking for active contributions as well. This is an open source product. So if you're interested in Retina, please go to the link and look for ways where we've shared ways where you can contribute. One thing we have done with Retina that you should know is We have integrated Hubble as a control plane with Retina so that it can be used even without Cilium underneath. So traditionally, Hubble has been included as part of the Cilium data plane. So with Retina, you can, we've integrated it with Hubble even for non-Cilium environments to give you all of those insights and metrics. So it can be really useful. We also do packet captures with Retina. So instead of doing the traditional TCP dumps, you can easily do it very fast and quickly with Retina. With that, I will hand off back to Phil. Do we
All
have
right.
any questions, Phil, that we take, or do we do that at the end?
Yeah, we could take those now. I was just scanning the messages here. Don't see any, but if anyone has any questions while we have Sandeya here, please go ahead and post those into the chat. And if not, that's fine. I think Sandeya, you'll be hanging around for a while, so if you have those, I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
try to grab that here. Okay. Okay, I think I'm gonna do something a little different here, but hopefully you can see my screen, and I believe you can. Okay, yeah, again, apologies about the technical difficulties. We'll try to figure that out. One thing I want to backtrack on, as far as the content spotlight, we are working with marketing on trying to produce some swag on this. So that may be another reason that you want to submit. And obviously, if you've been awarded before, we will retroly activate you on some of that. But we are thinking about doing some swag gifts here for those that get spotlighted for the monthly content spotlight. All right. The other thing I want to get into, again, just backtracking from what I was trying to do a little earlier, was to show off some of these links. So let me bring this up. And I think everyone could see my browser here. So earlier, yeah, Corey shared the AKS announcements here at Build happening this week. And so again, you can see some of these are highlighted up. I won't go through all of them, but we do have significant amount of activity happening, and then all of the sessions that are related to us are this here as well. And it being Wednesday, there's several sessions there happening. So that's for the build stuff. The other thing that I want to show was the AKS Labs. So again, this is where we have a dev advocate, PM, someone from engineering actually going through these labs with you. So this is really fun, interactive type of way of doing labs with us. And so again, we have the schedules up here. I think Automatic is coming up here next week. And as you can see, we got a pretty robust lineup here of labs to get you kind of leveled up with AKS. And then finally, I want to touch back on the AKS release status. Again, we now have a very visual way for you to kind of understand which releases are out there and which geos. And then the really nice thing about this, obviously, you can click through these and figure out which versions of AKS are out there. But I think what's really nice is the CVE status. So again, if CVE has been posted and you want to ensure that the images that you're utilizing with AKS have been mitigated with that CVE, you can now map these back to the releases and see if that release is what you're actually utilizing in Azure as well. So again, very nice visuals to quickly see if you are not being exposed by any CVEs. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and continue on. I'm going to get down to our roadmap. And as always, we're dealing with software. So these are kind of good faith estimates, but I think we've been pretty accurate as we've done this. So Let's jump into what has GA'd. We have 4623. This is skip the GPU driver installation. Again, this allows you to install your own drivers if you don't want to use the default node pool drivers. So if you got some specific workload that needs a specific like NVIDIA driver or sorts, this will allow you to actually have those installed in the node pool for your workloads that you're utilizing. Next, we have 2259. This is install your custom CA trust on the AKS nodes. Again, this allows you to add certificates to your nodes trust store, and this is really popular if you like accessing a registry or anything of that nature. But now you can actually have those certificates on your nodes that are your own CA certificates. Next, we have 4809. This is support for Cilium endpoint slices. This reduces like the number of updates sent to the API server. This can actually be overwhelming, and we've seen some issues. So this will allow a lot of the that process to be batched. So especially if you have very large clusters and you're using the Cilium endpoint slices there, we saw some issues, but now that should all be fixed. This is GA. And then lastly, 4102 multi-cluster upgrade should support the auto upgrade. This allows the auto starting of multi-cluster upgrades when you have like a new image version or Kubernetes version that gets deployed. So that is GA, so that functionality is there. So that is all of the GA. Let's move to public preview. We got a decent list going on here. From the top, 4844, this is fleet allow users to drain the cluster for all the resources placed. This is moving soon. This, as well as the next one, 4817, Unified Monitoring Blade. Not seeing this. This provides real deep integration of Azure Monitor directly in the portal when you're dealing with AKS. And so we are actually looking for feedback on this. If you've seen this and you like what you see or you don't like what you see, please let us know on this work item. We'd like to get some feedback as far as are we hitting the mark, what you would expect to be exposed in line when you're dealing with AKS in the portal. Next, we have max unavailable settings for upgrades. This will allow you to upgrade your cluster without any of the surge limitations. We've had issues where you did not have enough resourcing. Your cluster would kind of get stuck during these upgrades, but this will allow you to move forward with pending resources. Time frame for this to go GA is really soon. We have this tagged for end of Q2, Q3 time frame. So this is coming up soon, but you should see that in GA status. Next, we have the update to driver types for Windows GPUs. You'll be able to select, what driver type that you want for your Windows GPU. This is soon as well. Just trying to see my notes here. I think this is going to be closer to a Q3, so a little later this year. And let's see. We've talked about some of these before. They put on blocked nodes and proceed with upgrade. Again, that's that new algorithm mode that it's going to allow fail to drain nodes to be left behind. This is going to be happening here soon. I think we're trending around Q3, as well as the static egress gateway. That's going to be Q3, possibly even near the end of the summer. So we should see that happening quick. Next, we have the Azure CNI pod subnet static block allocation. We're tracking Q3 on that for GA. Could possibly be here within the next couple of months, but that is on track, as well as the pod sandboxing. That's going to be landing roughly around the same time frame, so Q3. And the API server VNet integration, I believe we made some announcements at Build. There's some regions that have gone GA. Again, this is dealing with a lot of the networking at our regions. And so there's the things that have to happen. But so where the network can support this, I think those regions are actually GA, and we should see the remainder of those happening at the like sometime this year. And I think last we have Carpenter, and as well as NAP. We are tracking for actually the end of Q2, so June timeframe. We should actually see. I know those have been really popular ask of when those are GAing, so it's very close. We hope to have those at the end of Q2, June timeframe. I think the other ones that aren't on here that we could possibly mention is Cato. So Cato, that is looking roughly within the next couple of months. It's in our kind of launch review. So would say Q2 June-ish, but it's probably safe to say Q3. And then the service connector integrated on AKS, that's happening soon, and that's going to be in a couple months as well. All right, so that is all of our public preview items that we wanted to highlight. And last, we will end with in progress. Again, these are much longer away, but we do want to just highlight the ones that have some activities happening. So from the top, we got the expand the Azure CNI overlay pod CIDR after create. Again, this is for that non-routable CIDR, so it's very low impact. And this will definitely help you if you didn't plan correctly. You have way more workloads than that CIDR will support. This will become available in preview in Q3. So this is going to be somewhere around that July-ish, August timeframe that you'll start to be able to get your hands on that. The next is the Container 2.0, Container D 2.0, supporting AKS. This is the Container D runtime. This is already available in Azure Linux 3.0, and we'll be bringing this to both Windows 2025 and Ubuntu 2024.4. So that is in the works. Next, we have the support app gateway for containers, and the app gateway add-on. And this is going to support and provide an in-place swap if you was using for app gateway for containers, if you was using the AGIC. And so this will land in preview in Q3. So I know a lot of people have been asking about that. So be on the lookout for that to become available in preview in the Q3 timeframe. Similar to that, we have the support for the Istio Gateway API in the app routing add-on. This will basically simplify a lot of scenarios if you're using the Istio add-on and you need an ingress that's way more integrated. This is going to allow you, to have those scenarios like your external DNS configured, your certificate management for the mesh, and so on. So we are actively working on this. I don't have a strong date, but this is actively being worked on. So hopefully next call we can give you a more definite time on that. Let's see the next. I'll kind of batch a couple of these. Let's see the scheduler configuration support. For AKS, this is going to allow you to configure the default scheduler. That is in the works. Let's call that Q3 from what I'm looking at. And then the next one there, the allow for migration from the VMAS to scale set. So that is going to public preview in Q3. So and we're actually tracking that to be more specifically at the end of June. So that is on its way. I think we may be even working with a few customers in an internal preview for that. Let's see the last here. Let's see. So the allow the migration from basic, that'll be the standard. This will be available soon. We're tracking this Q3 September timeframe, so to speak. And as those, I think we've mentioned this, that new creations of the basic load balancer, those will be blocked. But if you do have those on your clusters, you'll continue to get that support. But again, we're looking to hopefully public preview this in at the end of June, but yeah, I'm just trying to look at. I'm just kind of looking at some of the activity around this. Yeah, let's call this Q3 as a public preview. And let's see, we get these last two, multiple load balance support. Again, this is going to help customers constrained by the 300 rule limit for a load balancer. This is happening fast. We're actually in our launch review for this. You should see this in preview here in the next month or two. And then finally, the managed Istio egress gateway support. This will be that managed egress gateway to support your outbound traffic for your mesh. We're in the last parts of development for this, and it's going to be entering into our launch review soon. And so we're looking at within the next month or two for this to go preview and be able to start deploying that out. Right. So those are all the ones we wanted to highlight. I'm not sure. I haven't seen the chat here if there's any questions. Right. Okay. All right. So now we are at the questions part. If anyone has any questions, feel free to drop those into the chat. And I'm not sure, but because it looks like there may be an issue, but if you are able to come off mute, please do, and you can ask the question in the meeting. Okay. If there are no questions, we can possibly go ahead and end the meeting. But again, apologies again with the technical difficulty. We're going to try to make sure that doesn't happen next call. And if you have any questions around the Azure networking, I'm sorry, the container networking that Sandia has shown off, please let us know. And you can also use the content, I'm sorry, the feedback if you have any questions, and we'll make sure to kind of answer those on the next call. Okay, let's see, we got a new message popping in. Okay, I think we got a broken link there, Ryan, with each other. Make sure you get the correct roadmap all there. The QR code should take you there. Actually, that's our feedback QR code, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, if there's no questions, I don't see any in the chat, and no one's coming off mute. We'll go ahead and end this call. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. And again, apologies about the technical difficulties. This call will be available on our YouTube channel in the next couple of weeks. We do have the APAC call happening this time next week. So if you're on that side of the world, please tune in for that. And with that, we'll go ahead and end it. Thank you all and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.